Welcome, everybody, back to the Seed and Sword podcast. Brittany and I are back.
We're back.
It's been a minute since we've done another podcast, but Britt took the initiative today and was like, we need to do a podcast. And I have no idea what's going on, to be honest.
Yeah, he didn't know at all. And it's like, you guys, if you are watching on our YouTube channel, which we have like all the videos, you know, if you're a visual person and you want to like look at our faces, you can tell that our setup has definitely changed, and
that's okay.
It's fine. It's totally fine. But there's like plaster all over our desk, and trying just basically when I get like really artistic and I have like an hour to myself, I go cray cray. Cray cray.
I love the creativity.
So, but anyway, it's just funny. So I wanted to explain kind of like what's going on. That's just basically it. So I'm just creative. That's all.
Yep. So Brittany, like I said, didn't tell a single word to me about what's going on. So I have no reference. I don't even know what we're talking about. So I'm just going to let Brittany go ahead and start the episode off. You guys are listening.
Yes, guys. Okay, so first of all, I kind of wanted to, because I believe our last podcast, we kind of went off the cuff and we just improv'd it, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So, because it's been so stinking long, and now we have a little puppy, and it's crazy. Also,
he's just running around down here.
He's running around, so I'm super distracted. But, okay, so for this podcast, I kind of wanted to talk to, or actually like just interview Justin a little bit, because a lot of you guys follow us and have found us because of his videos. So, I kind of want to just like put him in the awkward like spotlight, but he's kind of like already, I find like the spotlight kind of awkward sometimes, like very uncomfortable, but he's like super used to it. Would you say you're used to it?
Yeah, I've done way too many awkward things in my life, so
yeah.
I'm not, well, I guess I'm used to it, but it's not awkward for me, so.
Yeah. He's put me in some like situations, and I've tried really hard to be like him, and I just can't. It's so cringy. I've tried pranking people. Hence
trying to be like me, because you're not me, so then it doesn't work.
That's your sense. Okay, here's a little like advice to anyone who follows Justin, Andrew, or anyone for that matter. Don't be like them.
Because you're not them.
Because you're not them. I even tried to be like my own husband, and I realized that I'm actually the opposite. I'm very introverted. I like to be alone, but that not necessarily. I can't really be alone. So anyway, I hate being alone actually. So anyway, there's a little bit about me. So
just a quick bio.
Just a quick bio of me, you know, just fine. I'm like the most awkward host. Like normally Justin kind of takes the reins of like talking, but you're gonna get me. So sorry.
You're not awkward host. You are what you say you are. So if you're saying you're an awkward host, then you could be an awkward host.
Maybe that's what is just great though.
Yeah.
Maybe people will listen because I'm awkward.
I like the awkward thing, so.
Okay, so I'm an awesome host.
That's what I like to hear. The confidence.
Okay, so currently our dog is like eating just scraps of just random things off of our floor. So everyone pray for Dino. So for basically, okay, I want to ask you a couple questions just to start off.
Okay. I'm ready for answers if I have them.
Okay, so what is your favorite thing about doing YouTube?
Favorite thing is a few things. I like the freedom of being able to do whatever I want. Obviously, nobody really likes having a boss over them telling them what to do. So having me and Andrew just be able to be like, hey, I want to go do a fort today. Okay.
Yeah.
The freedom that it brings is great. And I appreciate and am thankful for the influence that I have. With a lot of people subscribed to our channel, it comes a lot of responsibility, and I like that because I really want to be a good influence to people. So
does that pressure? It sounds like pressure, at least to me, and I've seen that kind of. There's been certain situations where I feel like sometimes it does become like pressure. Does that ever get to you, or does it feel like pressure when a lot of eyes are on you?
Maybe at some point it was. As of like lately, maybe it's like not a pressure that you think, but like a pressure of like always having to do what the culture is doing to kind of like stay relevant and like keep people coming back. Like we're always trying to come up with new ideas. So with new ideas, we have to kind of look at what all the other YouTubers are doing, and if it's successful, and be like, okay, how can we do it?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the pressure I'd say I have, but not in like a negative way, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's balance.
Yeah. Let's talk about your relationship with Andrew and how that kind of like went about. Because I feel like when we talk to friends and family, they are just awestruck of your guys' relationship and how unique and special it honestly is. So, like, do you want to just kind of go about, like, do you have any advice for people who want to work with their friends and stuff like that? Or, like, do you have any advice in that realm?
Well, Andrew and I have been friends for like 14 plus years, something like that. It's so long. And we didn't really have a business plan at all because we didn't know YouTube could become a job. So that's the interesting part, is that it all was like choreographed by God, because I didn't put any effort into like being like, hey, Andrew, let's start a YouTube channel and let's be funny in this way and let's be different in this way. It was literally just us being ourselves and that kind of growing, and us just adapting ourselves to that growth. And then as it became a job, we just kind of formed ourselves into that job and figured it out. So when it comes, maybe advice now to people, like, one, if you're going to get into business with somebody else, your friend, I would say find a friend who is mature, not like has it all together, but is on the path to a deep relationship with God, because I think God is like the center of everything. And if your partner, just like in marriage, if your partner is not like in it fully, doesn't have a relationship with God, then things kind of get interesting. But just make sure you're on the same page, and that you have the same beliefs, and that you're communicating well, because communication is always key, and communication is not always good on my end, on anybody's end. I mean, we always make mistakes, but just make sure you're communicating well. Yeah.
I think I've definitely seen, for the most part, especially like in the last few years, you know, Justin and Andrew's YouTube channel, More J Stu and J Stu Studios, has just kind of blossomed in such a beautiful way. But a lot of the people listening and watching your guys' videos, and even to this video right now and podcast, they probably just don't see the difficulties that go behind having fun. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like there's a lot of things. Like, can you come up with like one story maybe like that happened recently that was like you guys were filming a story, or you guys were filming and it didn't like turn out as planned, or it was more frustrating than fun? Because all that we get to see is like the fun part. Yeah. You know?
Sorry, Dino was biting on your dress.
Yeah, he's chewing on everything, so.
Yeah. I say sometimes like we have ideas for videos. Let me just grab that.
You guys just need to see Dino. We have to like bring him up, because that was a hanger that just.
All you guys who are listening, I'm sure you can visualize what's going on.
You guys can just hear the chaos.
If we put him up, he'll bark, and so then y'all will hear that, and that's more annoying.
Yeah, that is more annoying. So right now he's just kind of like wandering my studio, and my studio, to be honest, is kind of like a walking hazard, because there's just, like I said, like there's so much going on, and there's so much like paint and plaster and like all this stuff. So it's not on the floor, but it's not a pretty sight. So, but what were we saying? Okay.
Yeah.
A situation.
So we don't always have ideas. And when we come up with an idea, we'll go out and film it sometimes, and it's like it doesn't turn out the way we anticipated, or we'll have days that we just feel off. Like some days where we're filming, I'm like, I'm not too excited to film. And sometimes there's no like rhyme or reason. I'm just like, today I'd rather not film. Or like the idea doesn't work, and then we kind of are like, well, that was lame. But yeah, we have those a lot. we have definitely days where, just like any creative person, days where you feel like you have it all together and you're like, man, I am just killing the game right now. And other days where you're just like, well, that was a lame or wasted day. We've had days where we kind of just feel like it was a waste and we're like, we weren't really productive, we didn't do much, and we didn't really get a good video. Or Dinah wants to come up and say hi to all the video peeps. Are you going to just chill right here? If so, that's fine. But yeah, was that answering question?
Yes. Was that answering question?
You're asking just a difficult experience, right?
Yeah, or just like, I think you answered it perfectly. There's no right or wrong answer. Okay, and then, so since you were kind of like thrown into basically like, I would say being a YouTuber, like you actually have to be business minded because you have to, you're an entrepreneur, you know what I mean? So how has that been like what have you learned through that? Because like right out of college, you took like acting classes and you went to film school. And so now you're an entrepreneur and businessman. And so like, how has that, like, how have you seen God like shift that? And like, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think me and Andrew were talking with Matthew the other day, actually. Because I feel like if we were just starting YouTube now, it would be such a different like experience, and it wouldn't be the same as it was. Like, we got into YouTube when we really didn't have any responsibilities and we were just having fun. Mm. Like, our only responsibility was to pay rent, and that wasn't even that much because we were splitting it with like 3 people, so that was like $300, and we could cover that. But now, like, having responsibility of a wife, a home, bills,
or like, baby,
now a baby, like, there's so much more like stress that comes with that. Mm-hmm. That would be much more difficult if we would have started now and had to like create, like, if I was making videos, having to worry like, am I going to be able to provide for my family? Am I going to be able to pay bills? So I'm very blessed that we did get into it when we did, because we weren't thinking of the future really at all. It was just kind of like, oh, we can have fun. No responsibilities, and then slowly like just growing over that the years that we've been on YouTube, and like realizing, okay, God has made it clear why we're on YouTube right now, and we need to take it seriously, and we've had to learn so much along the way. It's always a learning process, like no matter what job you're in. So yeah.
That's great.
I would say that's the gist of my thoughts on that.
What advice would you give to someone who right now is like in their life, like this is how it's played out, it's different, you know, like they have responsibilities right now, like they're, you know, they've got a whole list of things that they need to take care of, but they want to pursue YouTube. So like, what advice would you give them?
They want to specifically pursue YouTube.
Yeah.
Well, I would say, like, obviously, like, list out your priorities, and like, you can't obviously just drop, like, if you have a job, you can't just drop it and like do YouTube, because YouTube now, like, everybody's wanting to get into the YouTube game, so it's much more difficult, and you can't make money until you have 1,000 subscribers, and 2, you have to have 4,000 hours of videos watched. 4,000 hours is a lot of time.
It's a lot of time.
So you can't start making money until like YouTube sees, okay, they've been committed for at least 4,000 hours of other people watching their content. Yeah. So look at it as just like, don't really get into it for the money, but if you're gonna do it, take it seriously, and like at least like don't run yourself dry, but like focus on, like, if you need to provide for your family, don't just like drop everything and do YouTube. But you can do it if you work hard and you're dedicated and you're prayerful. God will make it clear what you need to do in your life. So, and maybe he won't, but if you're just being prayerful, I think that's like a really key ingredient to every situation in life, is if you're being like coming to God and being like, God, if this is your will, like, I'm going to be faithful in this, like, help me, because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do this. Even looking back, I'm like, how did we figure all this out? I don't know. We did, though. And we were big goofballs.
You still are big goofballs, which is what I want to talk about next. Let's talk about how you bring joy you try and bring joy. So what is the Bible verse that you and Andrew kind of like stand by with your filming? I think you go by a couple, but
Yeah, no, it's in Proverbs. I don't know what it is exactly, the verse. I could look it up right now, actually, if you want. Just because I want to make sure if I'm going to be reading a verse. Sorry, I got the computer. For all of you listening, I have the computer right here, so that's very, very helpful. All right, here we go. Proverbs 17:22. It says, "A joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones."
So this is a test. So next,
Yes.
our next podcast, you have to have that memorized.
Proverbs 17:22. I mean, it's so short. I should already have it memorized.
So, okay, awesome. So how do you...
I got it. Proverbs 17:22. "A joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones." I passed.
You're just trying to, like... You have nothing to prove. You're fine. So, okay, back to, like, the joy. Like, how do you... Because I feel like a lot of people see you as this, like, joyful, goofy guy. And you guys, like, everyone who's watching and listening... And you have watched Justin's videos, like, what you see on YouTube is literally what you get in, like, the personal life. Like, behind the camera, that's exactly who they are. And what I love, too, is the fact that, like, lately, our friend Matthew has been filming their J2 Studios videos. So you guys need to go check that out. That's their prank channel. And Matthew films for them and basically... kind of like shows the behind the scenes now. It's kind of like what would you call that, like, style? Is there even a style, a name for that style? It's almost like the Office style. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like you just get like the awkward
It's kind of like a documentary because he's always filming us.
Yes.
I don't know.
There's no breaks, and so you actually get to see how Andrew and Justin, like, communicate and how they actually are as, like, human beings instead of people that are just, like...
But obviously not always just communicating in, like, a goofy manner. We know, like, when we're being filmed, we like being more goofy, but off camera, we're not just, like...
Well, I feel like Mary, Andrew's wife, and I can definitely just attest to this. You guys are, like, complete goofballs.
Yeah, I attest to that.
So, there's definitely, like, I think God's blessed you with, like, being a goofball and being lighthearted, where it's, like, you don't have to try in that area to be funny or to be a weirdo. Right. Because I tried so hard for, like, such a season to be a YouTuber, and it was, like, miserable.
Well, you can tell genuineness from...
Yeah. Like...
Artificial, yeah.
Organic from non-GMO.
Yeah, you can totally tell.
Yeah. So, but no, I love that. And so, okay, let's talk about, too, the, kind of like, I just want to talk about you. Because I feel like, for the most part, just, like, I want to hear your personality, your likes, your dislikes, your dreams, things like that. So we'll start by saying, like, and then we'll end on the balloon thing. Mm-hmm. Or maybe we should start with, okay, let's just start with, like, what is your favorite food?
Favorite food? I love chips and guac. So Mexican food's always great. Anything with guac, I'll just go with that.
Anything with guac. Okay, sounds good. What's your favorite color?
Like royal neon blue. I like the bright, colorful colors.
He does. Anything like bold prints, bold colors is totally Justin. Okay, and then let's talk about, like, oh my goodness, let's talk about what you're filming next. Like, what are you guys hoping to film next? Or what's your, like, biggest, like, filming goal now?
We want to do a short film. We've done, like, 3 in the past, and acting's always so much fun. Mm-hmm. So we're hoping to write and put together another long short film that we can release on YouTube and do, like, a fun, like, mini tour like go into a few movie theaters so that all our fans who want to watch it can watch it in a theater setting.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. So stay tuned to that.
Mm-hmm.
And, okay, let's talk about the balloon thing.
Mm-hmm.
So your mama told me, and then she told us together too, but can you explain to everybody, like, or tell them the story? Or I can do it for you if you want.
Maybe you can.
When you were
I mean, I
kid.
feel like a lot of the things that happened when I was younger, I do not like really remember. I don't know why, but I mean, I was pretty young at some points. But my mom remembers a lot of these things.
Yeah.
And so she's the one who brought up the balloon thing.
Okay, so I'll tell the story. Is that
Yes.
okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought this was really cool, and if you guys are following us on our social medias, which we'll put down below or whatever, but basically we did like a fun photo shoot before this podcast, and I thought it would be really fun to do one with like a couple of balloons. And Justin actually, the reason why I picked this type of like photo shoot for Justin was because of what his mom told me. And I guess, when he was little, he would always ask his mom for balloons. And she was like, of course, she got him balloons. This was like countless numerous times of getting Justin balloons. And she said every single time that he would get the balloon, I think she said like immediately or like soon right after he got the balloon, he would want to get rid of it. He would want to let it go. Do you remember like what you said? I think she just said that like you wanted to give it to Jesus.
Yeah, it was something along that.
It was something like that.
There's a party up in heaven, and like I want to give it to God, and
yep.
So
anyway, I thought that was like the cutest thing ever, and his mom mentioned, she was like, I wanted Justin to keep the balloon because I bought it for him, and it's his and all this stuff. And, but just, she let him, and like, obviously she was like, I guess, go ahead and give it to God. And, his mom, after she told me that story, she said that that's what Justin's doing now, is like, you are basically every single day that you decide to film, and that you as hard as it is on some days, you go out and you give balloons and you give joy and laughter. Because, like, why do people even use balloons? It's to bring joy. It's to bring laughter. It's to bring, like...
It's like a celebration.
It's a celebration. And so I just thought that was so cool. And so definitely go check out that photo shoot because we did it literally right before this podcast. And, yeah, it's really awesome. I think the photos turned out really well. And I think it's really fun. So, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it was only until, like, fairly recently, but, like, maybe in the last, like, 2 years or something like that, Andrew and I, like, our whole motto is, like, laugh daily on our channel. And then looking at the verse in Proverbs 17 that talks about joy.
Yeah.
Joy is medicine. Like, we take the Bible as truth. So, if joy is medicine... My whole life has been, like, full of joy and laughter. I've always loved laughing. I've always loved being the center of attention, like, in front of people, like, making people laugh and entertaining people. But I have experienced joy, and it is like medicine. Like, when you're feeling sick, you take medicine to feel better. So if we can provide joy to people who are feeling sad, depressed, without purpose, hopeless, like... That's like the greatest thing that we could do.
I think he wants you.
Oh, Dino. You're like a baby.
I know.
He is baby.
He's making me all hot and like sweaty because he's so fluffy.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a little teddy bear, and I'm like getting hot. He's probably like, get me off of her. So.
Yeah, but like, what is God all about? God's about joy. God's about peace. Mm-hmm. And if we can give joy, then we're showing God in that way. Mm-hmm. And we're giving people hope in a way. Like, we've gotten messages before of people saying, hey, I've been feeling depressed, or hey, I've been in the hospital, and your videos have really helped me. And like, reading those, I'm like, wow, like, that's really, really cool to hear. Because at one point, as you guys know, if you watched our previous podcasts, I was in the whole what I'm doing on YouTube isn't enough for God. I have to be always talking about God and shouting to God, like to everybody, being like, in every video there needs to be a Bible verse. Every video needs to be like a message and blah, 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 all this stuff. And no. The biggest thing I've learned is like I can show the world that I love Brittany through my actions, but I don't always have to be like shouting, hey, I love Brittany, by the way. In case you forgot, like I did this. I made this good decision, and it's because I'm married. Like people would be like, would you be quiet? Like I get it. And God just wants that relationship, that one-on-one relationship with you. Mm-hmm. He doesn't need you like doing all like that stuff, because like we don't need to earn our love from him, because it's given to us. So we just need to accept it. And that's been so freeing for me on YouTube, is just to walk in the freedom in his grace that he gives everybody. And he's given me, that he gives me grace so that I can live a free life and know that I'm loved, and share that with other people, because there's so many people out there who struggle with depression and don't know God. And if I can show people God through my actions, then glory to God.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Awesome. I think that's all I had, like, answer our question wise. So good job. You did
Thank you.
I didn't tell him any of these questions.
Great questions.
Thanks.
But yeah, guys, thanks so much for listening today, and for all of you out there trying to figure out your life. Don't look to other people. Like, God has given each of you unique gifts that only you have, that you cannot look to somebody else to find. Because if you're looking at somebody else, you're missing what's inside, and you're missing looking at yourself. Is he eating the table?
Yep.
Oh, nice.
I don't think you got anything.
You go down here. So just look at yourself and look at what you're good at, because you are good at something, because God has given you purpose. Like we said, you need to know. The creator of everything we have has given you purpose. So walk in that. And even if you don't know, it's okay. Like, just trust God, have faith, because he loves you and he has a plan for your life, and he will not let you down. You will let yourself down, but he will not, even through your failures. So you got this.
And with that, I think we'll just end it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys so much for watching and listening, and I hope this encouraged you, and thanks for being just the test subject for tonight.
Hey, thank you for having me. And guys, leave a like too. If you are still watching right now, you are epic. Leave a like if you want Brittany to do more interviews with more different types of people, because she has a great list of unique, creative friends who could probably really give some wisdom for everybody. So
yeah,
leave a like.
Thanks, guys. And on that note, like really quickly, I would just like to kind of like announce that I will probably, most likely, I will be interviewing some amazing women on this podcast, and just women, everyday women, moms, wives, daughters, sisters, all the things. And then also I would love to eventually get some guys in here and have Justin like interview, and just bring people to this table of like plaster and just love on them, and, and see how everyone else is like, that we really admire and love, and kind of have you guys hear their story and share our testimony. So there's good things coming.
Just stay tuned. But we appreciate your support. Thanks so much for being here, and we hope you all have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.